Hello everyone, I'd like to welcome you to our training session. We're going to get started here in a couple minutes. Want to give everyone time to finish getting logged in so you can wrap up any emails, grab something to drink. We'll go ahead and get started here in about 1 to 2 minutes. Okay, we're going to go ahead and get started. Again, I'd like to welcome everyone to our Resumator training session today. What we'll cover today is an overview of setting up your account, as well as the day-to-day use and functions of the Resumator. To get started, we're going to take a look at first setting up the basics of your account. We're going to start here in our Settings tab, and please note that the Settings tab is only available to administrators and owners on the account. The first thing we'll want to do is start adding in users. There are 3 account types we can create. An administrator is the most permissive account type. They'll have access to the Settings tab as well as the reports. A user is more restricted than an administrator. I do have the ability to restrict them to only viewing jobs on their teams. And then I have a recruiter. This type is designed for outside recruiters. They'll have access to all jobs, but only the resumes that they submit. Once I determine what type of account my user will have, I can then associate them with a team, if I like. To create a team, I just need to give it a name here and click the Create button here. And to add a new user to a team, just select it from the drop-down menu. I would then enter in their first, last name, and email address. The email address will be what they will use to log in, and they will also receive a password generated by the system sent to that address as well. If I ever need to make any changes to any of my users, I can click on their name here. And click Edit User Profile and make any changes necessary. I also have a list of my teams. And an owner on the account will have access to the Privileges section here. Here I can change things such as team members are restricted to only viewing jobs assigned to the team or that list them as the hiring lead. That users cannot create or edit jobs or delete applicants. That users can only view applicant evaluations that they create. That users cannot edit the star ranking of applicants. That recruiters are restricted from seeing jobs that are marked as private posting, and that recruiters can view all, not just assigned applicants in the account. If I make any changes, I do want to make sure I click the Save Changes to Restrictions button here. After we get our users in the system, we then would want to move to our Messages tab here. This will allow me to control who will receive notification when new resumes come in. This is new resumes for all positions. I can select my option from the drop-down menu here, and also have the ability to specify email addresses individually, and type in any email addresses here. I have the ability to create custom message templates. Popular examples for this would be a request to set up an interview time or a phone screen time. To create one, I simply click Create New Message or New Message Template here, give it a name, subject, and enter in the message. I can use these placeholder tokens with the brackets to insert information into the message to make it look more personalized. There are 5 system message templates built in. The one I'd like to highlight is the automated reply to applicants. To edit, I can click the plus sign here. And this is the only message that the system will automatically send out to applicants. I can make any changes. I can also disable the automatic reply by unchecking this box. And if I make any changes, I want to make sure I click the Save Changes here. Next, we're going to take a look at the workflows. The workflows represent the how of how you hire. So these mirror your offline hiring practices. For example, if you have 2 phone screens, an interview, and an on-site visit, you can build out your workflow to reflect that. The standard workflow built in, you can see here. And if you'd like to create your own, simply need to give it a name and start adding in the workflow steps, and you can add as many as you would like. And these are going to be the active statuses in your hiring process. The not hired statuses are already built in for you. If you ever need to make any changes, you can click Edit here, add in any additional steps. You can weave those back in where they would need to go, and delete any steps that you no longer need. You also have the ability to select one of your workflows, either the standard or custom, to be the default when you are creating jobs. If you'd like to select one to be the default, click the radio button here and scroll down to the bottom and click Save Default. Next, we're going to take a look at the Questions tab here. This is where I can set up any custom questions that I would like to ask applicants, either up front when they're first applying or later on during my hiring process. We do have a set of canned questions built into the job template that ask the standard questions such as earliest start date, desired salary, the more standardized questions across job types. This gives me the opportunity here to create custom questions for specific software, maybe specific types of experience, really anything I want to ask. To get started, I'll need to give the questionnaire a name and then click Create Questionnaire, and this will take me to the screen where I can add in my questions. Let's take a look at one that's already been started. Here I can see the screen where I can add questions in. This is what one will look like as it's being built. To choose a question type, I select from the drop-down menu, and based on what I select, I will be given different boxes to type in. Any of the questions, I can check this box to make required, and once I click Add Question, this will automatically save and update. As I'm beginning to bring applicants in, I want to think about the types of things I'm looking for in an applicant. So we're going to take a look at evaluations. This allows me to set up a custom set of assessments that anyone who has a touch point with the applicant can complete, and allows us to wrap numbers around the very anecdotal parts of hiring, such as someone did well on an interview, someone did not do well on an interview, etc. Much like the questions, all I need to do is name it and click Create Template. We're going to again take a look at one that's already started. Here you can see some examples of assessments that you might ask. These can range from very tangible things, such as whether or not they were dressed appropriately or on time for their interview, to very intangible parts of their personality. Would they be a good fit for your team or your company's culture? Things like that. Depending on the assessment, you have different units of measure that you can select. There are numeric ranges, either or less or more options, and each question can have a weight. When this is completed, again, usually after a touch point like a phone screen or interview, it will give us a score based on the unit of measure and the weight, and will give us a score out of 100. The last thing we'll want to set up before we get started posting jobs and receiving applications is our Integrations tab. Here we have a list of all the integrations that we currently have. To set up any of these, I would click either Connect or Edit. For example, our Monster credentials, we can enter here and then post our jobs directly to Monster. Same with Career Builder. Our Smarterer integration allows us to use Smarterer, a website that has tests that allow applicants to show what they know. So for example, if someone says they're great with Microsoft Word, we can use a Microsoft Word test on Smarterer to have them prove that to us, and then the scores are sent to their profile. The One Login integration allows me to create a One Login account and then log in there and have my resumator automatically log me in, as well as other websites. And I can edit the credentials or connect to any of these in the Integrations tab here. Once we have our account set up, we'll want to begin posting our jobs. I can do so from my dashboard here, as well as from the Jobs tab here. This will bring us to the Create a Job form. The first section you'll see is the confidentiality section. This is entirely optional and allows me to either not disclose my company name in any job listings, or to keep the job listing off of my careers website and any job widgets that I may be using. The first required field will be the job title. We usually recommend making this more general so that more people will find the job when searching, and then use the job description to narrow that down. If we're utilizing any departments or units, we can enter those in here. Next will be the job status. Open will be available to applicants, but there are other statuses built in, so you can keep a log of any jobs that you've had open. If you're utilizing teams, you can assign this job to the team here. And you would then assign a hiring lead. Your hiring lead is going to be your point of contact for this job, so often is the hiring manager. Select the employment type and minimum experience. I would then enter in my job description and can make any formatting changes that I need. The geographic information would be next. For the city or town, we recommend using the closest major city. And this is very important if we choose to use the syndication feature here. The syndication feature will automatically publish your job to about 13 free job boards, the two biggest being Indeed and Simply Hired, and they do require a specific state, city, and postal code. The hiring workflow, we can select either the standard or any of the custom ones that we may have set up earlier. In the canned questions, these again are those standard questions. The first column will add it in, the second column will make it required. The one I would like to highlight is WMYU, that stands for What Makes You Unique. It gives the applicant 150 characters, so about 1 to 2 sentences, to give you an answer to that question. Often gives you a very good glimpse into their personality. In the custom question section, we can assign any of those custom questionnaires that we created by selecting from the drop-down menu. If we've integrated with our Smarterer account, we can select a test from here, or jump right to their website to create a skill set. The job board categories, we want to select about 4 to 5 to make sure the job is correctly indexed in the free job boards. In the internal job code section, I can enter that in if I'd like. If I'm required to do EEO reporting, I can select the category here, and the optional questions will automatically be added in. I can enter an approved salary range, which will be viewable to recruiters and administrators, and then any additional notes that I may want to add, and then click Save Job. We're going to take a look at one we already have started. Here is the Summary tab. The first thing we can see on the top is our Jobnosis score. Jobnosis gives us an idea of the health of our job, taking into account the job posting itself as well as the candidates and work that have been done with those candidates. It gives you an idea of how soon your job will be filled. It looks like we're looking pretty good here. If we need to make any changes, we can click here to edit job details, and this will take us back to our form to make any changes. I have the ability to clone this job. Where this becomes very helpful is in situations where I have the same job in more than one city. I can hit clone, edit the geographic information, and save, and don't have to redo all the questions and redo the job description. It's ready to go. Down the right-hand side, we have our social referrals section. If I click here in the Ask for Referrals button, this will take me to our Share a Job feature. Here I can direct message any of my contacts in Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn. I can edit the message that's being sent to them, as well as tweet from my account, update my Facebook wall, and update my LinkedIn status as well. So when I click the red button, it will blast out that request for referrals to everyone listed. I also have the ability to tweet this job, post to my Facebook wall, and update my LinkedIn status individually. What's great about the LinkedIn status update is that I can not only send to individuals, but also post to any groups of which I am a member. So this will get the job out in front of my social network, but then the social networks of everyone in my groups as well. I did mention that we automatically post to about 13 free job boards, and we also have our Career Builder and Monster integrations that we briefly looked at earlier. For any other websites that I would like to post the job, I can use the Job Link Builder here. This allows me to create a custom link to track the sources. So let's say we're going to post to Craigslist. I would then take this link and put it in a How to Apply section in my job posting on Craigslist, and this will direct my applicants to the Resumator, as well as allow me to track this source so that I know what type of applicant flow I'm getting from each of the places that I'm posting my job to. If I do have any resumes that I've received via email, I can forward them to this email address here, and this will create an applicant profile related to this job for each resume that I send. I can send a limit of 10 resumes per email, and they each have to be smaller than 1 megabyte, and often simple Word documents or PDFs process the best. Taking a look at our Referrals tab, not only can I get my social referrals, this will also take me to my Share a Job feature. I can also use my email address book. I can type in my email addresses here. click to edit the message being sent, and then click Request Referrals, and I can also see who has requested and the views, forwards, and applicants from each here as well. The Statistics tab is where I can make a little sense of where everybody's coming from. I can see the total sources, views, forwards, and applicants. I can see a breakdown of totals by source, and this will show any of my built-in sources or custom sources. I can see a chart of my applicant flow for the last 14 days, and a summary of my pipeline for this specific job. The active statuses are going to be made up of my workflow statuses, and then the hired, not hired, and discarded statuses are the ones that are built in automatically, and I can jump to any of these and see the applicants associated with it by clicking. If I would like to post this job out to either Monster or Career Builder, I can click on the Postings tab. For here, I would select the job type and industry, and click Post to Career Builder. My job is already posted to Monster. If I do make any edits to the job, I want to make sure I click Update, and I can also view it live here. Once I get my jobs posted, usually want to wait about 24 hours, give my jobs a chance to get out there in the world and start bringing applicants in. In the meantime, I can also integrate with my website with the jobs widget here. We have two options, a basic and advanced widget. The basic widget is a single line of code that would be inserted onto my website and will in real time update with any postings in the Resumator and pull traffic from my website applicants into the Resumator. The advanced widget has 3 steps. It's very simple for someone who's familiar with building websites. The basic and advanced widget vary in that the advanced widget has a search capability and is a little more formatted. And there is a tutorial that links here that will walk you through all the steps of the advanced widget. Once we start getting applicants in, be they from the free job boards or from our website, we would come into our dashboard here, and we can see we have 310 new applicants. It's a little daunting first thing in the morning, so we can filter this down by job. You can see I only have 1 new applicant. Much better. In my applicant section, I will see the breakdown of the overall status types, and I can jump to any of these by clicking on them, as well as search applicants by name here. My inbox will show me any unread messages sent to me from applicants, and to read them, I just click on the title. My watch list is something I can customize and set up myself from each applicant's dashboard, and this gives me one-click access to my top-tier candidates across all the jobs that I'm working with. And as an admin, I can see not only mine, but everyone else on my account as well. Continuing down my dashboard, I have a jobs section, and this will show me my jobs by status. Again, I can click to jump to any of these, and then can search jobs by title here. My incomplete tasks will show here. I can click View to jump to the details, check it off here, or jump to view all tasks as well. And here we can see recent activity on the account. This is across all users and jobs. Let's go ahead and start taking a look at one of our applicants. We have Robert here, so I'm going to jump right to him. And this will take me to his dashboard. The first section we'll see is the jobs applied for. If I'd like to add one to his profile, click here, select the job, the status, and I can set a star rating and then click Add Job to Profile. If I would like, I can remove a job from the profile by unchecking the box and confirming. For each position, we have a star rating that as an admin I can change, a workflow status, and to change the workflow status, I just need to select the next one off the list and it will automatically update, and have the ability to view, submit, and request feedback for each position individually. I can click View Feedback here, and I'll see a breakdown of who left it, when, and their comments, as well as an overall star rating. I can submit my own feedback. I can type in my detailed thoughts here, select a star rating, as well as privacy, and then I would click Submit Feedback. I can also request feedback, either from Resumator users by clicking here, or from people outside of my account by using email. I can edit the message that I'm sending and then click Send Request. When I request feedback through this method, they will receive an email with a link that will give them access to the resume, the star rating, as well as to leave their detailed comments, and it will come in as defaulted to admins only. Next, we have the resume section. This will show the resume as the applicant uploaded it, and will also turn the text of the resume into a searchable database so I can search for keywords later. Next, I have the notes section. Here to add a note, click Add Note, enter in my information. I can select Privacy, and then click Save. Notes are designed to be like Post-it notes on the folder, if you want to think about the days of paper resumes. So these are designed for more quick thoughts. For example, if someone works nights, you don't want to call them early in the morning to schedule an interview. Things like that. Whereas feedback is designed for more detailed thoughts. Here we have any tasks that relate to both me and the applicant. So that is any tasks that relate to the applicant that I have either created or have been assigned to me. To create a task related to this applicant, I would click New here. Enter in what the task is. I can assign a due date or leave blank for it to be due immediately. Assign it to myself or anyone in the account. I have the option to notify them via email, and then can leave any additional notes or details, and click Save. Events here will show me any calendar events that have been scheduled related to Robert. I can click on the title of any of these to jump to the event, and can also create a new one. This will take me to our Schedule an Event form, and will automatically fill in the applicant's name here. And we'll take a look at creating calendar events in just a moment. In the questionnaire section, I have the questionnaires that the applicant has filled out. These can again be associated with a job at its creation or sent along later. If I want to send one after an applicant has already come through, I can click the New button here. I would select the job. I would select then the questionnaire. I can edit the message being sent. I have the option to hide my personal email address if I would like, and then click Send Questionnaire. Ones that have been completed will show as a clickable link so I can see the answers. And ones that have not yet been completed will show as this one does, and I can resend by clicking here. The categories section is next. These act like online filing cabinet drawers. They allow me to sort applicants based on any criteria that I would like. As an admin, I can click New to create a new category right from the dashboard. I can enter in the category name and click Create Category. To add Robert here to any of the categories we have, I can check the box and click Save. I can later search by these categories and pull up everyone in that group. In the Files section here, I can upload files related to this applicant by clicking the New button. I would select the file. If it is a new resume, I can check this box to overwrite the one we have on file, and can select Privacy here. And then click Upload. Next, we take a look at the Profile tab. Here we have the answers to any canned questions, as well as source and referral information here. And if I need to make any edits, I can click Edit Profile, make my changes, and then click Save. In the Communications tab, we will have a record of communications sent between Resumator users and the applicant. As long as the message chain is started in the app, any subsequent replies will show up here as well, even if they are sent directly from the email client. To begin a new message, we click here. I can select to send from myself or the company. I can add CCs and BCCs. I can type in a subject and message, or I can select one of the automated messages. either a system message or one of the custom that I selected. I can make any last-minute edits, attach files if I'd like, then click Send. And then that message will show here. I also have a message Dropbox feature, so if I have any emails that are sent directly to me that I'd like to make a record of here, I can either forward or BCC this address on the reply, and those will be recorded here. In the Evaluations tab, this is where we can complete the evaluations that we created earlier, and again, these would be after a touch point such as an interview or a phone screen. To complete an evaluation, I click Add Evaluation, select the template. I would then fill out each assessment individually, and I can add comments as I go. I can then add any overall comments I would like. And when I'm all done, click Save Evaluation. This will now show the score, as well as average the scores of everyone who has completed the evaluations. And if I'd like to see what everyone individually picked, I can click Toggle Details and see each assessment and how everybody scored. In the Activity section, I'll see a breakdown of the workflow status activity, as well as all activity for this particular applicant. I have the ability to hide an applicant. What this will do is hide him from any users in the system. So if we hire Robert and he's going to be using our Resumator account, he doesn't necessarily see all the comments and all the feedback that was left during his hiring process. Robert is on my watch list. If I would like to remove him, I can click here. And if I'd like to watch him or any other applicants, I can click here to add him to my watch list again. As you can see here, there is a duplicate profile for Robert. This searches by email address and pulls any people who have the same email address. I can choose to click here to see the duplicates, and I can also merge these applicants together. So let's go ahead and take a look at the merge feature. I can see I have these two that I'd like to merge. I would then select which resume I'd like to use. I would select the jobs. And then I would begin to select profile information. If I hover over any of these fields, it will show me if there is any options. The remaining applicant data, such as notes, events, tasks, and files, will all be merged together into one pool. If I'd like to manually select specific data, I can click here to do so. I then want to make sure that I just double check everything. Everything looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and click Merge Applicants. I will have to confirm that I would indeed like to merge these applicants, as there is no way to undo this. And it'll take a moment, and then successfully merged my two profiles together. So you can see now there are no duplicates for Robert. So if someone applies for two different positions in your company, you can merge those profiles together and work with them as one. On our Resumes tab, we will see all the resumes. It defaults to show the most recent on top. I can click through to see each resume individually. I can also upload resumes here. So if I have some that have been sent to me and I'd like to manually upload them, I can drag and drop files here, click to upload. If I don't have a resume, I just have someone's information, I can click here and enter in their profile information. Or if I just have the text for their resume, I can copy and paste that here. Although I do have the ability to look through resumes individually, what becomes very helpful and becomes a huge time saver is being able to search through the resumes by clicking here. I have the ability to search by name, keywords in the resume, job, status, category, and rating. I also have an advanced search, which contains the same abilities, as well as the additional canned questions here. And I can add as many of these as I would like. And custom questions, so I can select any of the custom questionnaires that I created. and add a number of question filters from there as well. And depending on which question I select, my options will change for how I can search. What this allows me to do is get very granular with my searches, and I can pull out the people who absolutely meet my requirements and absolutely do not meet my requirements, and separate them into two groups to begin working with. So I'm going to go ahead and run a very basic search to pull up a few applicants. And I'm going to search for graphic designers whose resume contains the word Photoshop. This brings up a very large number of applicants. But let's say I ran this search and I pulled out all the people who did not meet my requirements. A couple things I can do from here. I have the option to save a search by clicking Save Search here, giving it a name. If I check this box, then everyone in my account can use it, and then click Save Search. This allows me to save these very granular searches that I'm creating and save myself a lot of time later on. What I can also do is select these applicants, come down here to my batch actions, select Change Status, and I can move them to our Not a Fit, and click Go. And this will move all these applicants who have not met my basic criteria over to the Not a Fit status. So I've removed them from my active pipeline, and what I can now do is come to the Send Batch Email here. Again, select the same job and status. I can then select the automated message. There is a rejection template built in that I can customize, and then click Send Batch Message. So what I've done in just a few steps is removed all the people removed all the people that we will not be considering and then let them know. It saves me a lot of time from having to go through each resume individually. Next, we have the Tasks section, where I can see any tasks that I have, any delegated and completed tasks. In our Calendar section, I will see any events that I have access to, as well as any tasks that have a due date. I can schedule new tasks from here and also schedule new events. This takes us to the same form we saw earlier, except that our applicant's name isn't entered in here. If I would like to relate this to Robert, I can start typing in his name. I can attach his resume if I'd like. I can select the job, category. I can set privacy for this event. I can also add a date, time, and location. So we're going to say tomorrow morning. I then would begin to add in my guests. So I will be attending. I can suggest additional dates, times, and location as necessary. If I've already confirmed attendance with these guests, I can check this box here. They'll still receive notification that this event has been scheduled, but they will not be asked to confirm their attendance. I can leave any additional notes or instructions. I can also attach a file here. So if it was an interview, I could attach the interview questions or minutes for a meeting, and then click Create Event. Here we can see I'm awaiting confirmation from my guests. And I can email them. I can also, again, add additional dates and times. From here, I can edit the event. So I can change the title, job, category, and privacy. I can also export my event here. If I have my Outlook integration set up, I'll have the ability to select that. But I'm going to go select the Google Calendar here. And then I will have the ability to select not only my calendars, but any ones that are shared with me. and then click Export Event. Takes about a minute, and then will let me know that it's been successful. So the next time I log in to my Google Calendar, I will see that event there. So as we're working through our hiring process, we're bringing people in for interviews, we're scheduling phone screens. Occasionally, we might want to wrap our head around how the hiring is going, and we can do so in our Reports tab here. And again, this is a section that is available only to administrators. By default, the Reports dashboard that you see here will default to all jobs for the last 30 days, and I can make any edits to that I would like. Say I want to find it for the year. Click Apply Filters, and that will update. I can see my applicant flow graph here, as well as a breakdown of applicants by day, and can click View to jump to those applicants, as well as export the information here. Here I can see a list of all the sources. I again can click View to jump to the applicants associated with that source, and export here. The job board applicants will show me a breakdown of the applicants by free job board, and again I can view the applicants here. My social media applicants will show here, as well as user activity, so this will show a breakdown at a high level of what the users in my account have been doing. Down the right hand side I have my Go reports. Let's run a couple of these so we can take a look. I'm going to go ahead and select my total applicants by status and generate the report here. So this could be a breakdown of the total number of applicants by the status type. As you can see, this is turning blue as I hover over these. This means I can click on any of this information and jump to the applicants that were used to calculate this. So if I would click on intern, it would jump me right to that applicant who is in the intern status. Another report I'd like to highlight is our funnel summary report. This allows me to select a job, limit the dates, and also limit by source. So I'm going to go ahead and choose a standard source for our job board. What this funnel summary will do is give me a breakdown of the total applicants that have been in each status. So not necessarily where the applicants are now, so it's not a snapshot, but it does give me an idea of how many applicants have reached each point of my hiring process and can give me a very good way of vetting the quality of the applicants coming from a source. So for example, we've had 33 applicants here, and you can see how many have moved to each status. So if I'm getting 150 applicants from a source, on the surface that may seem really great, but if only 2 are making it to the phone screen, I may want to reconsider continuing with that particular source. A few more things I'd like to point out here. In my account, up here in the navigation bar, is where I can change my password and also edit personal settings. Here I have the ability to only show me applicants that are filed under new or active statuses, to hide job listings that do not list me as the hiring lead, and hide job listings marked as filled, canceled, postponed, or closed. If I make any changes to these, I want to make sure I click Save Account Changes. And last but not least, we have our Support Center here. Here I can check in on support updates, new features, add feature requests, see upcoming training sessions, and read a number of articles broken down by subject here. I also have the ability to submit a request. So if I'm not able to find something in the articles, or I think something is broken or have a specific question, I can click here to submit the request. And this goes to our support staff during business hours, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern. We try to keep to a reply time of about 10 minutes and try to get to you as soon as possible. That about wraps it up for what I'd like to cover today. We'll go ahead and open the floor for any questions.